button is pressed. The button has not been depressed. The button is actually feeling pretty good right now.
Oh, that's good. I mean, since all of us are tired and stuff.
Yeah, the button's doing great. Actually, no. Looking at the button, it is blue.
Uh-oh.
Ba-da-dee-da-da-da.
Well, hi. This is Beth doing GURPS Wars, a GURPS Star Wars homebrew with Crash and Ellie and EO. And we are all very tired. But, you know, we're going to give this a shot, and I hope that the players will not be too upset by the fact that, well, what happened last time, and then I'll explain what's going to happen maybe now.
Nedra proved to be more tired than all of us in that she sleepwalked to the cockpit and attempted to get in to have us go into hyperspace before uncoupling our power cables from the mansion.
Nedra's my self-insert. She's so tired. Anyway.
Yeah, we
people
restrained
who are
and
trying to
sedated
sleep
her.
Pilot. Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry. We poorly restrained and poorly sedated her because I was editing that episode today and I failed both roles, one of them twice.
Convenient that. On the other hand, she's kind of low on skill levels herself, so maybe you'll be fine.
I'm confident that it'll be fine.
Right. So, does anyone else want to... Sorry.
I also learned that I did not have the ability to fly. Julrock has been levitating me every time that I thought I was flying on my own. I'm still coming to terms with this.
It's tragic.
And now I'll shut
It's
up.
very tragic. Does anyone else have anything to add, or do I fill in things?
I see that the ship is on the map.
Mm-hmm. You'd managed to get some codes off of your little stray Imperials to go and to a location that they think is still in Imperial control, and the codes will provide a talk first, shoot later sort of what's the right word? Code. As opposed to, no, we're an Imperial ship, we're fine here, we're all fine, fly casual. It's a, hi, we might be allies. You want to talk to us, not shoot at us. And you decided that you would set off towards Imperial space. Is that about right?
I think so.
Okay. We do have everyone, right? We do have an Ellie? Okay, good. I'm just checking. Right, okay, so the way that I figure hyperspace works after staring at numerous things about it, including a Reddit thread that has travel times between places that was found from the Star Wars Behind the Magic CD-ROM.
Oh no, don't listen to that thing.
Oh, but it's funny.
No. No. This was a conversation I had in a Star Wars 5e server. There are wrong data on that.
Okay, so not using that data precisely. I'm not using that precisely. But do ships like have to drop out of hyperspace and re-navigate onto different lanes periodically?
Depends on the route. Sometimes.
Okay. I presume that a number of these have like little beacons that have been left in place so that you grab the beacon, you figure your next heading. In fact, the ship can probably just like do that if you have a autopilot nav program. Drop out of hyperspace. Beacon gives you the coordinates for the next jump. If you want to go to such and such location, you do a jump there and you go back into hyperspace, right?
I assume that's how it works.
That plausible? Anyone who knows more about Star Wars than I do?
I'm a little concerned that the pilot just assumes that's how it works. I'm confident that it's not my problem.
Here's not actually a pilot.
Hmm?
I was being ridiculous.
I didn't catch
As
the
was I.
first word there. You're all being ridiculous at me. It's sad. It's tragic.
Who here has played a small goblin child that repeatedly climbed people to attach to their faces? Oh wait, two of us have our
Look,
hands
when
up.
you're short. Exactly. But when you're short, you have to do things. And Burp didn't have explosives.
Not yet.
She went barbarian paladin, not barbarian artificer.
The artificer makes the explosives. Anyone can throw an improvised weapon.
We don't have an artificer. Anyway. You've been going along, and honestly, you're not using necessarily the most direct hyperspace lanes because those are probably being messed with. There's apparently a way to blockade hyperspace lanes because that's a great big thing about stuff that hasn't happened yet, actually, in your continuity about hyperspace blockades. So
Let's use interdiction devices, which were a thing in KOTOR, but seem to basically solely have been a thing in KOTOR in regards to ships that got made by the Starforge, and they don't really seem to show up in SWTOR, so presumably blockading lanes in the Sarah involves like setting up at the dropout points.
right. I am assuming that there are certain dropout points in the various pathways that are not actually ever really paid much attention to because the ship pops out of hyperspace, it grabs the next thing from a beacon and it goes on, or else it drops out and you run a nav program and it finds its heading and it goes on. And
Likely.
and they're reasonably well patrolled so that you don't have pirates setting up shop and that kind of thing. Which is why when you drop out of hyperspace on this particular route that you've taken to try to get behind Imperial lines, and there's not a beacon there to say, okay, go on to the next, you might be a little bit concerned. And because there should be.
Don't look at me. I didn't take the beacon and blow it up, and I resent that anyone was thinking about it.
I was not.
Would anyone who has danger sense like to roll danger sense?
Oddly enough, my
What am I
explosives...
supposed to roll danger sense about?
Sensing danger?
Yeah, no, but what am I supposed to roll?
Perception.
Okay.
You've been cooped up
I
with
will
me
roll
for weeks. Your sense of danger is probably very skewed right now.
I wasn't sure if I'm supposed to be rolling combat precognition or my actual perception.
Actual perception for this one.
Okay. I will stop.
You're getting a bad feeling about it. I don't know where you are on the ship for this normally very routine drop out of hyperspace. No, there's no habitable planets here. Sorry, Crash, you'll have to make that one go away. Yep, okay.
I'm making both of them go away. I'm just... if we're going to be doing star maps, I feel like
you can leave the gas giant if you want. Yeah, you can leave the gas giant, but there's no habitable planets here.
Who says the blue planet
Maybe
was
it's an
habitable?
asteroid. It looked pretty.
Pretty does not mean
Where
nice.
is everyone on the ship? True. Where is everyone on the ship, just out of curiosity?
9 times out of 10, I'm going to be in engineering.
That'll do. Zisha?
I'm sorry, I missed what I was supposed to be doing.
Are you likely to be on the bridge for what is nominally a routine drop-off, albeit on lesser used routes, because the greater used routes might have somebody who wants to check and see why a ship is going towards the front of the war.
Yes, I'll probably be in the cockpit.
Okay, you are well aware that the beacon that should be here you're pretty sure it should be here, is not here.
Okay.
Zwolrock, and where are you with your sense of extreme foreboding?
Probably meditating because
You're cutting out a lot for me there. You may need to
oh
repeat
dear.
that.
Probably
Sorry.
either meditating or prowling the ship.
You can do both.
I feel like Zwolrock prowls the ship because technically they're sort of the ship's security, and
You have to know what the ship looks like when it's secure to know what it looks like when it's insecure. That sound reasonable?
Prowl the ship to make sure it's still secure.
Mm-hmm. Occasionally
and
being
that
trailed.
Possessions are not spreading and causing possessed Imperials to rush the bridge.
That would be a problem. Sometimes that your ducklings follow you around, one or two of them just barely out of sight around the central curve of the ship, just peeking around to watch you prowl. It's weird.
My headcanon just has me like sitting in the breakfast nook area, sipping my morning coffee and watching Zorak go by with like 2 officers in tow. And then 30 seconds later, Zorak goes by with 2 officers in tow. And then 30 seconds later, Zorak goes by with 2 officers in tow. It's not always the same 2 officers.
Nope. Generally not.
They are going to go now, however, to the bridge.
Okay. There's a bridge here. There's a Zisha here. Interact, PCs. Interact.
And Zwolrock will buzz the door, just so Zisha knows it's them and not a possessed researcher.
Oh yeah, having the door shut's probably a good idea.
Odd that we had to make that distinction, but good that we're making that distinction.
And just a second, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Your researcher has been glad that you're in hyperspace and has been occasionally sleepwalk bugging people to go to certain coordinates, and the Imperials have been saying they're sure that the captain will go to the correct coordinates, and do you want to go back to bed when they come across her, which sometimes they do.
My headcanon for that is when she sleepwalk goes over to bug people, she's trailing one or more of the cargo security strap things that I failed to apply properly.
Well, you're on some of the slower routes, so it's probably been about a day or so at least. But yeah, basically.
I didn't say I succeeded again.
You're still not succeeding, I see.
Well,
Sorry,
it's funnier
Cat was
this
playing
way.
with something he shouldn't have been playing with.
Oh, Boo. Why is Boo
Dear
playing with
Boo.
things? Boo, no!
Quite serious question, though.
I hope...
Is the researcher always asking for the same coordinate?
Yes.
Okay.
They're not coordinates that are popping up on your location. She has once asked what coordinates you were going to. That was when she was more awake.
Captain Zisha, is everything all right in there?
Think so. Well, the beacon that is supposed to tell ships where to go isn't here. But, I mean, I can do that calculation myself. It'll just take a minute.
Perhaps it would be best that we do so, because I have a very bad feeling about this.
Is making the nav roll. The nav roll is going along, chugging through the computer the way it does, assessing what the scans say, assessing what the current gravitationals are, and the little chirpy beep 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 that happens when someone is hailing you is doing the chirpy beep 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 and flashing a light on the bridge.
Okay. I'll answer the hail.
Okay. Are you broadcasting your transponder codes, or have you turned them off?
Is that what the person on the other end is saying? Or...
No, this is GM. Sorry. The GM is asking, are you broadcasting your transponder codes?
I think probably yes.
Okay. You actually have a spare set. You can be another ship if you want to, but that is up to you. Are you
Um,
sorry.
yeah, I'll be the other ship for a while.
Okay. The perfectly spherical shock?
Sorry?
What is your other ship's name? I had one of the rejected names for Bucephalus was perfectly spherical shock. Perfectly spherical cow, space cow.
Yeah.
We are the decade.
I would have gone with
Sorry, you go.
the Decade Hummingbird. Um,
Decade.
I would have gone with perfectly spherical Nerf, but
Oh, that works too.
shock is fine.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, let's do the perfectly spherical shock.
Okay. Make here boundary. Go away, other thing in the way. Okay. Perfectly spherical shock. What is a shock anyway?
It's like a
Oh.
Nerf, but smaller.
That's when the outlet doesn't have those little safety covers on them and you stick your finger in it. You don't hear me, I'm in engineering.
This is probably good. Boop. Excuse me, I'm going to place an item on.
Oh, wow, that flew fast. Forget firing a warning shot across our bow. It did a warning trajectory across our bow.
No, that's just the thing moving it. That's
That
just
was ramming
where it
speed.
comes around. No, that would have been slammed. Slam. Shocks
welcome
are
to the
really
jam.
appalling.
Oh, excellent. You found it before I did. Aren't they perfectly spherical?
And they're kind of
Well, they're
oblong,
not,
but
they're-
yes.
there's.
It's why people say a perfectly spherical shock.
Meanwhile, I
Look,
was
it's
looking
her
for
business. She's named after the round cows.
my condolences.
A Nerf. What are you condoling? For
that a
someone
character
named
was
Shakti?
named after round cows. How now, round cow?
I think it's a convergent sort of problem. You know, when someone's name turns out to be something stupid in another language.
Oh, like the Chevy
In any
Nova,
case-
which translates to Chevy doesn't go.
Chevy no go. Bingo. So, perfectly spherical small Nerf. What are you hauling in this scenic location?
Tourists. Again, I'm
You're
in
not on the
engineering.
bridge.
No. I'm saying things out loud, but I'm just listening to the comm system without pressing the button. I have been told not to press
Is it on the comm
button.
system? That's up to Zisha. It's
Are-
up to
are you
Zisha whether
saying-
this is going over the comm.
Are you saying I can't patch in? Are you saying I haven't patched in?
Probably haven't yet. In a little bit, you'll probably have a roll to determine there's a problem. Anyway,
I've probably patched in.
you'll patch in when you realize that you haven't done the routine. Okay, we dropped out of hyperspace. We got the new nav setting. We've aimed up there. We go back into hyperspace. Wait, why aren't we back in hyperspace? Give that a moment.
Why aren't
It's
we back in
Zisha's turn.
hyperspace? Is it my problem?
I can't tell what Zisha is actually hearing right now, so
Okay,
I'm going to wait until this is done.
Zisha is hearing. What are you? Has heard the. And what precisely are you hauling? Perfectly spherical little Nerf.
I think that's the first time I've been called that. Not anything at the moment. We just dropped a passenger off at Alderaan, and I can't remember. I have to look at the map.
Mhm.
That's not the map.
Which map you looking for?
The one that EO posted last week.
Brental. We're going to Brental.
I thought that's where we were.
I had what I thought is that you'd gotten to Brent Hall and you'd made your
Oh, okay.
You've already made your what you call it.
I think I
If
found
we've
the
made
map. I
our
pinned it.
transit, then that.
We just dropped off a passenger at Alderaan, and we're heading to Dell to pick up some new cargo.
Check and see. You might be further along than even Dell actually, but yeah. Reasonable. Dell. You're running empty to Dell. How
Yeah,
much
that-
did that Alderanian pay you?
I mean, it was an Alderanian.
So you've got a lot of credits on you.
Well, not on me, in my bank account.
It's all in a bank account, is it?
I mean, money that's not drawing interest isn't really useful to me.
Well, that's really a shame, because if you don't have anything of interest on your ship, that leaves you of interest on your ship, and whatever crew you've got.
Oh, so this isn't like a customs thing then?
You could call us customs.
No, I don't think I will.
In that case, why don't you simply let us see if you've got anything interesting on your ship? Stand by and make sure your weapons stay powered down,
Why would I do that?
so we don't blow you up out of the sky and see what you've got in the wreckage.
You know, if we pointed our airlock at their ship and I tossed a handful of grenades in it, the decompression would send them flying towards the ship without us powering anything up.
Question is, would all of them do enough? I think it might be roll for initiative time, so to speak, although, well, so you should just give for amusement, give me a. Do you have a sensors type skill? Does anyone have sensors?
I don't know what a sensors type skill would be.
Electronic operation sensors.
I got that.
I have electronics operation onboard systems.
You have the. Rotini has LOP sensors.
Oh, that's repair. It's the same skill level, though.
And we both made it.
You made it by 8.
It doesn't matter by how much, we both made it.
Okay, do you have okay, brain. I cannot absolutely send things telepathically through the computer. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's what I forgot to do. I forgot to actually put skill levels in. Curse me. Okay. That was weird. Q. And I did update that. Curse it. That's not the right one. Did not save. Blast.
It has been a hot minute since we were in combat. How do I roll for initiative?
There isn't an initiative roll. That's the fun part. Initiative is based off of your speed.
My basic speed is 5.5, apparently.
Okay. And Zisha's?
I think mine is 5 1/4, but I don't see it on the sheet.
That's a nuisance.
I'm in full view.
Since I don't have popped that out.
Oh, there it is. It's just 5. How's that calculate?
And Zorak is awesome. Is higher better or faster?
Yes.
How is the one with the shortest legs the fastest one here? I'm like a Looney Tunes character where they just turn into this like wedge-shaped blur.
I believe it's Dex plus health and the result divided by 4. And it does not auto-compute on this here sheet.
I just copied the numbers that you gave me.
Yeah, well, I computed it for you, I think.
Yeah. That's why I said those are the numbers you gave me.
Yeah. Your basic speed is 5.5.
needs computing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Basic speed is 5.5. Basic move is 5.
Yes.
I assume my basic speed is 5.25. I have, if it's Dex and health, then
Dex health divided by 4. Dex plus health divided
and
by 4.
I have health 11 and Dex 10. And there was and Rotini has Dex 12 and no increased health, so.
Should be the same as Zisha, yeah.
What? No, Zisha's is the same as Rotini's.
That's what I meant, sorry. And yours is, was 11 plus...
11 and 10.
Yeah.
Yep. So 5.25?
10 was that divided by 5.25, yep.
Okay, good. Because I didn't do any actual math, I just looked at the increments and involved and figured that each increase in one stat by 1 would be an increase of...
That's more math than I could ever manage. Anyway, I've updated that on Zisha's sheet. Oops, ignore that. I didn't mean to roll that. I had gone out of... Well, at least you made the roll. There is a ship off your stern, Zisha can tell that it's about the same size overall as Bucephalus. It has less in the way of. It has more maneuvering thrusters, you think? So it might be a bit faster than you are, which is annoying. Although if you could get a straightaway actual straight run at things without being, shot at or something, you'd probably be faster because you are a Corellian freighter, and that is not. Okay, sorry. What were you rolling self? Oh dear. Rotini, you have a spare bridge seat basically down in engineering.
I almost certainly tinkered something. Yes.
Okay, so you have controls, a secondary control board down there, basically.
It's not as elaborate.
You
The cup holders are not as fancy.
right. You made your ELOP sensors by 8, and that's certainly a lot. You have a lot more information, mostly about what their engines are, and they're probably more maneuverable than you are in normal space. And if you could get into a nice, good hyperspace jump outside their range, that would be great. You could probably outrun them. Question is, you want to go making blind jumps or anything, but that's up to the captain, presumably. And let me just do a quick little check of my other thing here. Curse you all. Click, clear. Isha has indicated she does not wish to stand by and be boarded.
Yeah, I do not wish to stand by and be boarded.
Okay. Let me open up out that one.
I would prefer to not use my weapons of choice in our ship.
Let's just see how does that work. That is not actually going to. That is not hitting at the moment, despite the success, because that was a warning shot that goes past, basically right over the ship, very close, of a very large blaster cannon, effectively. You may now decide what you're going to do because it's your turn.
Hang on, folks. We've got some pirates trying to attack the ship, and if anyone's got experience with shipboard guns, we could use the help.
And on the left side of the ship, you could see some pirates. On the right side, you can see the wreckage of the last group of pirates.
Don't make me giggle. It's not fair.
Also, that can't be
see,
canon
there's-
because we haven't destroyed pirates yet, and there was only one group. Please let there only be one group. You said you don't like combat.
I hate combat. Combat is the worst.
Okay, so the ship's gonna
Okay.
be made of cesium, and we'll throw a glass of water at it and win.
Throw. As it happens, I assume you sent that through the what do you call it?
The ship-wide, not the
Intercom.
external comms.
Yeah, the ship live one, yep. You get a couple of your passengers hastily tumbling out of wherever they were, which was quite possibly hanging out in assorted locations. You haven't insisted that they stay in their cargo bay very much, so some of them actually come out and sit at the breakfast nook occasionally. You get a couple of people running for your turrets. They have probably scoped these things out. And that is useful because now I have skill levels for them. They have gunner skill. Isn't that wonderful? Even better.
In the meantime, I'm going to fly evasively until the navigation computer tells me that we have a hyperspace lock.
Give me a piloting roll. Made by 4. Okay. And then I am going to do this and see if this will work. Okay, which one do I click? It's not in that. No, I want it in full view. I don't want it in port view. Okay, good. Now I click that. Does it roll? Hop out, curse you. I need like 3 screens for this. All right. How do I make you roll? Do it. Skill roll. Cursey little things. That one worked.
Now we have Beth fighting with Foundry.
We have-
Please hold.
Fine. I will roll dice. I will do the math myself. You're trying to fly evasively, and this thing is basically sticking right to your backside. There's a hot pilot there. To the ship into the fire. True.
Well, as the engineer, I'm party healer right now.
You can
This-
find fire in space. I will A, be impressed, and B, blame you.
I'm responsible for
Because everyone
every
here is
star
going
in
to
the
say-
universe. Fear me! Fear me! I will take that credit
Look,
and let it all go
one
to my
of
head.
us has set fire to space.
Don't
People
assume it
setting
can't
fire
be
to
done.
space. So annoying.
I know it can be done. You did it. In the
Technically-
other
Technically, that was the
Setting.
phlogiston, but yes. I burned one reality to destroy
phlogiston is
another.
like space.
Fortunately, sticking close to people, it's sticking close, but it's not actually gaining on you. Your ships are, at the moment, equivalently fast. Either that or they're not pushing their engines. You can't tell right now. You're busy flying. And top of the hour. Let's. Okay, you can get your people running in there in fancy, nifty, cinematic time. A few minor, lazy shots go past. You have people at the turrets. They're clicking on their intercoms and doing the your orders, Captain. I am not going to make the NPCs. I'm not going to make your people's NPCs do things. You have to tell them to do the things, and then they will do the things.
I'd prefer to disable rather than destroy them, but I'm not going to cry too hard.
Yes, sir.
Fire at will.
It's not here. It's a starship. No. Where did that go? This would be this, and I am going to. And you have 2 attacks, which is useful. I'll use those. 1 miss, 1 success. I make a roll. Does anyone else want to? Why did you make NPCs do this? Why did you make NPCs? I'm rolling for NPCs all over the place.
Feel my pain.
You want me at the guns?
I don't know. Do you have gunner skill?
Do you want me to take my turn to
No,
go to the
and I have
airlock
low
with a spacesuit?
TL.
No, I do not want you people going to the airlock with a spacesuit and
I've got
shooting
throwing 16. Let me at him.
explosives.
Throw me in, coach. Remember, I never.
Telekinesis. I could chase them with a grenade.
Oh, that's right. Teamwork. And, you know, technically, I never said we were moving that centrifuge oil bath out of the airlock.
I have a concern.
Anyway,
I love how Io said anyway and then immediately muted themselves.
it's not my turn.
That's not. That's a problem with not having my thing set up. Many apologies. Give me a roll. Just for grins. Where is my. One of your gunners lands a shot, and a fairly good one, on the enemy ship, which is now broadcasting a ID of Shadow's Revenge, which is certainly dramatic, although what it's revenge for, who knows, which causes it to reel around, sort of swerve off and start taking better evasive maneuvers. Now it is somebody else's turn, such as, well, technically Rotini. Then it will be Zulrock.
I am. Well, the gunner positions are taken. The pilot position is well, the gunner positions are taken by people who are more skilled in that than I am. The pilot position is taken by somebody who is way more skilled than I am. Would I be able to become vacuum rated in one turn or no?
No. There's some things you could do, such as juicing the engines. That would probably take a turn or two.
Oh. Well. That sounds like a thing that Rotini would probably do.
Yeah. What is your engineering? Refresh my memory.
Engineer is 18.
That's kind of high. You are at a minimum in equivalent to, say, Scotty's level.
Which means, no, seriously, if I'm Scotty's level of engineering, that means I've given 2 turns to do it. I say it's impossible, I get it done in 1.
Yeah, pretty much.
Made the roll by 4. I am juicing the engines. I'm just pouring Welch's in there as much as I can.
You have a lot of power, Zisha. The other ship is being defensive for the moment, and you can do a maneuver of going in a direction, or basically treat it as combat. And I am so annoyed because I did save all of Bucephalus's stats, and they're gone, which means I'm going to have to paste this sucker into Firefox. Revving up the engines is a perfectly good tactic, yes. Ellie, are you there?
I'm here, but I've already had my turn.
It's your turn again.
Oh. I didn't realize the Shadow's Revenge had gone.
It's doing a defensive.
So, should I have a turn?
Yeah, I don't think Rolrock has a turn either.
All right, Zulrock's turn. Zulrock goes after everybody.
Yeah, they did not have a turn.
I'm sorry. Zulrock. What are you up to?
Zulrock is I think standing like at the entrance to the bridge.
Yep, unless you decided to jump in, push inwards while there was still talking going on and sit somewhere.
They are going to come in, and they are going to drop down to sit on the floor, and they're going to attempt to help Zisha by, like, trying very hard to sense danger and call it out so she can react.
Ah! Okay, that's an entertaining...
Oh, I have advantage on my piloting rolls.
If there's and generally with the GURPS version, that would be a bonus to the rolls as opposed to advantage.
Not in there at the right level, so I'm going to fix
combat precog.
And I never recovered all my fatigue after last time. I am going to dump 2 fatigue into this to give myself a bonus because I am not very good at combat precog. It is perception. And I think if I mess with this on Foundry, I can give myself bonus to a roll I am making. And that would actually have made it unmodified, but that makes it better.
Indeed. Okay. Let me do a very quick check of rules on something, and if I find it quickly, I will use it. And if I don't find it quickly, I will say the heck with it and go that, okay, for that, Zisha gets the degree of success on the piloting rolls. Actually, no, the degree of success on dodge rolls.
Oh, okay.
Since I'm assuming that's what That'll do.
Yeah, I don't think that there's anything I can do with precog to make Zisha better at piloting it, but I can help call things out so that she can react more quickly.
With Zorok's precog, they see the engineering door open. They turn and say, Rotini, do not go into space. Rotini pauses and then goes back into engineering and closes the door.
Okay. We've got tip. Since you actually managed to hit the Shadow's Revenge, and with apparently better luck than it had anticipated, which means I'm going to have to do some interesting rejiggering because it's fun. Yay, playtest the combat system. You basically get to decide what you would like to do tactics-wise at the moment for... It's Zisha's turn now. The enemy ship has taken a defensive turn.
What do I roll for? How do I roll dodge?
Bucephalus should have had dodge stuff. Let me give its dodge.
Its dodge
says-
is 9, and if it's benefiting...
Yeah. Plus your margin of success, which was a 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if that was supposed to be a dodge roll, it made by 3.
Basically, what sort of are you doing, an all-out defense or an all-out attack? I'm trying to my homebrew, because honestly, I don't want to learn more than one combat system, and I hate all combat systems. They're all terrible. So the ships are characters, and they get to use the things that regular people would do, attacking and defending and whatnot, which is in the GURPS Light. Is that an acceptable?
That's fine. I just don't know how to. I just didn't know the number I was supposed to roll against.
That's fair. That's very fair. At the moment, they are not actually doing an attack, so you do not need to do the defense unless you want to keep it for the next time when they do an attack.
Yeah, I'll fly. I will fly defensively to make sure that we don't get hit.
Okay, I'm going to note the. Yeah, that's about right, Crash. Those are 2 defensive type things that can be done. Ships only get dodge. Pull that around. Think. Brain. I should never do combat. Why do I do combat? Aim shot.
Because we've done so well for so long without it.
Yep. So I thought that I could do combat, and then I realized that, combat. Why did I think this? I thought, yes, I've brushed up on my combat. And then it all falls out of my head, despite the fact that I brushed up on it. Okay, then select the correct ship. And let's see if I can make the correct ship do the correct thing. And let's go with that. Okay. And now I'm going to close that one. It fires. You're using your dodge there.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, it's not a contest. That's a fun part, is that they can succeed. In fact, they can succeed by 6, but the dodge is simply a dodge, which you made by 3. Let's just say that the paint is getting a little bit scorched here and there.
So they successfully hit where our ship used to be.
Basically, yes.
And we need to do
In
paint
fact,
job.
Quite possibly. Yeah. Quite possibly where your ship would have been if not for Zwolrock going down.
And Zisha not
Or going-
critiquing on whether or not down exists in space and just going in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
And their other shot went wide because they were presenting a bit more of a broadside. They're putting out some fires. Okay, next one. You did a fire at will. They're going to go on basically Zisha's turn. Does Zisha want to... You're flying defensively. You have gunners. They're not going to get a good shot if you're doing an all-out defense. That's what that would translate to.
That's okay.
There are a few shots because they're going to take a few shots. They will not hit. TM. Goes to Rotini. Rotini, juice the engines. You can keep doing that. Make sure the engines don't fail on you. If you've got any other ideas.
I have a couple. Would it be possible for me with my, I know I'd need to make a roll to attempt it. Would it be possible for me to use something like electronics operation or computer operation to provide some type of accuracy boost to our gunners? Some type of analytical, it's going left, left, right with the dodge pattern, or something like that.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just quickly. Do I have a copy of your character sheet? Is your character sheet updated on the thing?
I've only been using the Foundry character sheet, so yes, that is. Not all the buttons work, but all the data is correct.
That is honestly the important part. That's going to be a computer programming role, and it's going to be, since you do not have tactics or strategy, which would be the best part of that, it's going to be at a -5.
-5 for which one?
Programming. Computer programming.
Okay. That's what I couldn't find. I was looking for something that began with P. Okay, so I need to roll a 10 or lower.
10 or lower.
50% chance. Here we go. I got a 9.
You got a 9. Excellently done.
Zulrock is making us pilot better, and I'm making us shoot better.
Okay. Zulrock, you're continuing to concentrate. Do you wish to roll for and hope for a larger margin of success, or are you going to continue doing what you're doing?
I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. Do I need to spend a fatigue to maintain concentration?
I think that if people had to do that constantly, that would be a problem in actual combat, since you're using combat precog.
Yeah, but I'm not using it for the normal thing.
You're not using it for the normal thing. That's true. Yeah, if you're using it for the normal thing, you'd probably have to roll again, actually. You pick. Spend a fatigue or else just roll again. One or the other.
I will spend a fatigue.
Okay. So you still have the +3. Okay, you're within the full damage. There's going to be some damage being rolled. At least if I can make that work. Why do these not list as... Oh. That. See if that works. That looks much better. Okay. Would Zisha care to do an all-out defense of perhaps 2 dodges?
Okay.
And since you're rolling against a 13 still, that makes them both by 3 again. You're feeling very much like it's a very good idea to have Zulrock calling these things out while you are being chased around.
Yes.
Okay, let me roll a die just a minute here. And I want to 6. Nope. Okay. That's not actually, that was a GM roll, not a. Okay. So you did the dodge. Your turn now, because that was a reaction against the attack. Sorry, Zisha's turn now.
Okay. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing until the navigation computer says it's done.
Okay, so you're reserving all actions, just diving around and trying to be hard to hit and all that. Okay. If you're still doing the all-out defense, then this means that your gunners are mostly providing atmospheric pew-pew and not landing any good shots. Next is, despite the fact, sadly, that they are doing better, they're messing up the paint job on the enemy ship.
As far as I'm concerned, the gunners are there for suppressing fire, not Like, if they damage the other ship, that's a bonus.
Okay. Basically, that is what they're doing. They're doing suppressing fire. They are not doing much in the way of damage, but then you've been managing to avoid being damaged by your extreme dodgification. So
We're not going to get out of Dodge.
So
We are
that
staying
goes-
in Dodge. We are making our home here. We will raise our families here. Until navigation tells us we can leave.
Valid. What would engineering like to be doing?
Well, I've done my warm-up exercises and helped the NPCs shoot better.
Mhm.
Relatively speaking. Now that I've, shaken the cobwebs off, I think it's time to really show what I can do when I'm not making things explode. To that end, I want
Okay.
to overclock the navigation computer so we have coordinates to get out of here faster.
Good idea. That'll be a computer programming roll at a penalty equal to the bonus to get the heck out of here faster.
I don't know what that means, so I'm just going to roll.
That's fair. You made it by 5. Okay.
All the lights in the ship start to flicker a little bit.
Yeah.
I get on
pretty
comms
much.
and
You're
say, "Don't
overclocking
worry,
your
it's me."
computer, You're throwing... You hear sort of the occasional shriek from poor Nedra's cabin, so to speak. You hear a few some swearing from your Imperials, and no one is running around trying to take your power away from you, which is a good thing because you're the engineer.
Look, I'm
Right.
just trying
Okay.
to mine a few more Sith coin. I feel bad saying that out loud. That wasn't a good joke.
No, but that made it funny. Zwolrock, another fatigue to maintain or reroll? Or something else?
I will maintain concentration.
Okay. You're getting pinged on the comm again, but if you don't care to answer it, few people don't want to answer it, that is perfectly reasonable.
I'm getting pinged on the comm?
Yep.
Okay. I'll pick it up with my elbow.
Stand down or we will stop firing to wound you.
Why would I do that? You haven't hit me yet.
We will next time.
That's a lot of talk from someone whose gunner can't hit a planet.
Let's see if they can actually hit anything. That's 1 miss and 2. Well, make your 2 dodges. That one just barely makes it, and only because of Zwolrock.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that 13 a fail?
Are you rolling a 13 or are you rolling a 12?
I've never known.
The base is 9, and I'm providing a +3 bonus, right?
Okay, so yeah, one of them hits.
One of them hits. All right. That's going to be probably the one, just for grins, the one that made it by 8. Sure. Actually, no, it's probably the one just did. All right, let's see if that works. Ouch. Max damage on that. 6 damage to poor Bucephalus, which has the ship combat health HP of 10. Let me have somebody do a 1d6 roll to determine approximately what it's likely to have hit. Either that or serendipity. Do you want to serendipity the hits?
Yeah, sure.
Where
I've
do you
got a
want to
couple.
be hit? Yeah, you do have a couple of serendips.
Over Alderaan.
No. Where on the ship is getting...
It's traditional. It's the comms dish.
Your comm is out. They've shot your comm out along with a fair amount of other stuff. Your top turret is probably going, eek, that was close.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they hung up.
Zisha, continuing to drive defensively?
Yes.
Okay, that's yours.
And And checking on the navcom.
The navcomp looks like if you can avoid being hit on the next turn, you can use your turn instead of flying defensively to get the heck out of here.
Okay.
They're going to get one more shot at you. Unless, of course, you can figure out some other thing to do that will keep them from getting a shot at you. To engineering? Oh, you haven't. No, Zisha, you're still going.
No, yeah, I'm still flying defensively.
Okay, fly defensively. Engineering.
My soaps.
Now you won't smell of lavender.
But I like smelling of lavender. Ah. Well, this is why we have the economy size rule of tinfoil in engineering, specifically for making a new comms dish. Roughly once a week. Random things keep knocking it off. I tried making it out of sturdier materials. Nothing worked, so I don't make it out of the cheapest stuff possible.
Rotini, I must warn you, I must tell you, all of your plastic lawn flamingo equivalents that you've been sticking on top of the ship.
No! My
melted.
babies. My precious. Well.
No more plastic space hippos.
Those were my favorite. I go to the airlock and throw all my explosives at... No, I don't do that. I don't do that. I'm impulsive, but not suicidal. So, is there anything that's damaged that we could make use of right now? If it was working.
If you can make an engineering roll, it will function like first aid on the ship and do a little bit of healing.
Okay.
You are currently basically down. You have effectively 10 ship hit points. You just had 6 of them whacked.
I would suggest flavoring this as, rather than, we see the outside of the ship healing like the Borg, I run around and I unplug a few cables and plug them into other cables and kick a console and pour more Welch's grape juice into one of the boxes, and it puts more power into the shields. Because that's something I could conceivably do in engineering, as opposed to going outside with a roll of tinfoil to patch up the damage.
Indeed.
Okay, so would this be an engineering roll or a mechanic roll?
This would be an engineering roll.
Okay.
Good point. Mechanic is for the mechanic is more for, what's the word? There's a
changing
word,
the oil,
the repairs and whatnot, isn't it?
Which we have to do every 3,000 light years.
Give me half a moment. I will look at your character sheet. I will determine.
It's only a point difference.
What is more like?
Engineer is 18, mechanic is 19.
Yeah, go with the mechanic.
Okay.
You could also go with an electronics repairer for other things that have been doing things.
Well, I made it by 7.
Probably one of those.
How many points do we get from the outside healing like the Borg?
You are not healing like the Borg, but you have managed to stop some of the cascading, terrible, patch this, shut off that, make sure this other thing doesn't bleed life support out the small holes that are going whistle, whistle, whistle.
There was one console that exploded, but there was no disposable crew member right there in front of it because we're short. We only have 3 crew members.
Yeah, pretty much. That kind of thing. Yeah, one of your consoles shorted out. You don't need that one anyway. Technically, if that's basically equivalent to a first aid, then anything that is not a crit success, which it is not quite, sorry, is only going to be 1 hit point of healing, and it's going to be making sure that you aren't leaking more life support, so you're not bleeding. You have staunched the bleeding. So you're basically
good news,
on
ship isn't filled with blood.
Or ship blood. Well, for a ship to be bleeding, the problem isn't so much that it's bleeding in, they would be bleeding the atmosphere out.
Oh, I'm just going to chalk that up to something being lost in translation, But I do say, good news, the ship is not filled with blood.
Reasonable.
All right, I think that's my turn.
Swolra?
I am relieved.
We were all very happy for the ship.
And for yourselves, no doubt. Swolrock, are you maintaining or doing anything differently, or...
Well, the comm is off, which is probably good right now, though bad later. And I am maintaining.
Okay.
The
We are
comm
going
being
to-
off is good right now because it means that,
They can't call and taunt you.
yeah, and that Zulrock will not attempt to make intimidation checks.
Oh no. Well, apparently your earlier hits have certainly done a thing, because the enemy ship's port side has rolled a critical failure on their gunner attempt.
Their port side falls off.
So apparently their port side turret goes kaboom, and something explodes in that. However, the other two have made successes, so Zisha needs to roll under a 12, was it? For some dodging. That's one dodged, but the other one is a 14. Let's see if they are... You still have a serendipity, which might be useful. Okay, because... Ooh.
My microphone is off.
Oh. Well, that doesn't help. Just because they shot off the comm unit doesn't mean you need to be muted.
I must have tapped it at some point.
Whoops.
I don't get a bonus for all-out defense?
Let me see what the all-out defense bonusing is going to be. That's right, you get to dodge any number of things, if I recall. That's not the right place. Dodging. Dodging. Dodge any attack except one you don't know about. Okay, right. Get one active defense against each attack. That counts as 2 attacks there. If you use all-out defense, you can use your double defense. That's right. Okay, that's how that works. Thank you. So, quickly scroll up. Do you want to apply 2 to that one, or do you want to apply 2 rolls? I mean, technically it's a single block. Fail, block, dodge, or parry. Yeah, actually, if we're doing that, then you don't have anything to block or parry with. It would be using increased defense to add 2, which would still not... You failed that roll. It's a 14. So
Right.
12,
It was a 14 against a 12.
Okay, so that would make it exactly. Thank you, math. What is math? Brain? What is brain? Wrong franchise. That one got really, really close.
They tried to shoot off the dish again.
Yeah, and there's no dish, so it was going to be kind of a problem. That could have been really, really bad, because that was their forward blast cannons, which do a lot of damage.
Right.
So you did the dodge. For your next turn, the nav computer is beeping and going this way, effectively. I mean, not in so many terms, but I think a piling roll at a -2 because of all of the dodging around might be appropriate. Does that sound right?
Sure.
Okay. Get yourself oriented.
That did not do what I wanted it to.
Yeah, that's
Hey,
not
piloting
true.
+2. No.
The poor ship does not have a piloting skill.
No.
Yeah, but the only
Made
way I
by
can get it to
3.
let me give it a modifier is to right-click on the skill number and then...
Ah, yeah.
I know how to do a modifier. I just did it. You see the thing down next to the 3 red D6s?
Mm-hmm.
Click on that, click other modifiers +2, and then your next roll will be at +2. Or if you click -2, your next roll will be at -2. Yes, that. Yay, we did it.
You did it. You're back in hyperspace. You get the person on the top, your top turret gunner who saw the communication dish shot off, like, right next to him, is sliding down the ladder and going, ah.
Yeah, I might break out the good alcohol.
I'm going to. Okay. And
But that's the stuff I use to clean the electronics.
No, that's the quote good unquote alcohol.
Oh, I don't get it. I mean, we do have a collection. Are you referring to this bottle you got from a trader called Romulan Ale?
I actually don't know what it's called. It's just green.
Is that the bottle next to the prune juice?
Usually, I am concerned that the green alcohol has somebody's alchemy in it.
Well, it matches my skin. So,
I suppose that alchemy is less of a hazard here.
I am assuming that Rotini
No
has
one
heard.
would believe what the alchemists do to get drunk.
Rotini would believe it. Also, I am assuming Rotini has heard Zisha before say that she thought the alcohol was the good alcohol and gave a reason of, well, it's the same color as my skin. So Rotini has had time to suppress the reaction of, I like to drink this because it's flesh colored. Which I don't believe is what Zisha
That
means.
seems entirely reasonable to me.
But it's how Rotini interpreted it, regardless of what Zisha meant. Anyway, what Rotini's going to do while people are making poor choices by imbibing alcohol, something that Rotini would never do because isopropyl is bad for you, and the other stuff is not pure enough, is getting ready to do a little spacewalk while we're in hyperspace to go and fix the comm dish. So when we come out of hyperspace, we can actually say, hey, would you like not shooting us?
useful. However, we've been playing for a while. I don't know how long, and should probably
An
take
hour
a
and a
break
half.
before you take a spacewalk. Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It
Maybe
was
a
combat.
break.
All right, I'll pause it.
I hate combat.
The button has
button.
been hit again. Actually, I gently tapped it. I'm not hitting it. It didn't do anything to me.
Do not abuse the button.
I will not abuse
That's
the
right.
button.
Okay.
Be kind to your buttons and they will be kind to you.
Right.
Exactly.
Says the person playing a Sith.
I think
have
I might be
since
crueler
you're
than the
back in
Sith.
hyperspace. The floor is lava gif. Yes. So, you're back in hyperspace, as I have indicated by switching away from the Starfield map and into the ship map. And all of the things that were on top of the ship have been taken off and put into a corner, and now they're on fire. The collection of knickknacks and plastic flamingo equivalents that has been riding around on top of the Bucephalus is melted plastic slag. I'm sorry. The pirates have wounded you greatly. I mean, they kind of have wounded everything greatly. That you haven't lost life support because of Rotini's quick thinking and good mechanics role, but you don't really want to hit atmosphere hard right now. Sort of easing down might be a good idea.
Did
Some of these
you
panels
add
are
the
being held
flaming
together.
skulls?
Yes. To symbolize that they were on fire.
I will shed a tear for my giant plastic terrace because
Put
that was
JR
vintage.
and TT on this map.
They've been there
Think
for months.
Because Crash put them in the closet and I'm just ignoring them.
Last session, I actually said I waved to PT and JR as I walked past.
Uh-huh. I remember.
Now I remember that.
Obviously,
Anyway.
they're random droid chassis. Anyway.
Is this? Can we assume that I have fixed the dish, or do I need to make a roll for it? I'm okay with making a roll for it.
You're going to have to make a roll to fix the dish, and the other problem is that, I mean, fix is kind of an interesting word because I mean,
I've already
there's some
said
left, maybe, kind of.
I'm using an economy-size roll of tinfoil to make a new dish. I've done it before. The last dish was also tinfoil.
That's probably why it disintegrated so
Well, no,
decoratively.
it was disintegrating all the time anyway, so I stopped making it out of expensive components.
I mean, it's this round target-shaped thing. For some reason, people like to hit it, and also if it sticks up too high and Zisha cuts a something a little close, it can get knocked off. Like people bang into your rear view mirrors
Yeah,
on the car, that kind of thing.
It happens. It happens. It happens frequently.
Mhm.
So instead of making it out of like high grade materials and just like throwing good money after bad, I make it out of tinfoil 2 or 3 times a week on a bad week.
And the only reason that you can actually make this work is because you have very high skills, because having crap parts is going to be a penalty of somewhere between -5 and -3, depending on how crappy the parts are.
So mechanic roll.
Yep.
I made it by 8.
And you made it by 8.
So I had to make it by at least 5. And there we go.
I mean, the real trick is going to be, how do you get this thing on while you're in hyperspace?
Well, my assumption is there's a bubble of reality around us that would have to at least extend as high as the dish used to. Otherwise, that would have been problematic.
True.
So, spacesuit,
Although it's not
magnetic
very
boots.
nice to be out there.
Well, I'm not going to
Do you
go out there with a martini and a lawn chair.
Almost surprised by this.
The spacesuit would prevent me from drinking the martini. Also, I don't drink.
That's true. I forgot.
If you went out there with a martini and a lawn chair, I would expect you to throw both at the enemy, followed by a large explosion.
Well, the martini wouldn't make a large explosion. The olive is the explosive component in that, and that's more of a thimble grenade. So it wouldn't do a whole lot, but I like where you're going with this. Anyway, I pull my magnetic boots on.
But do you want to be making a vac suit roll at default?
I didn't know there was a roll for that. Which skill is that based on?
Technically, Dex -5.
Oh, this is going to be bad.
You can always try and get someone else to do it who has better Dex. I'm looking at, I mean, there's your pilot. Your pilot ought to have decent Dex, right?
So
Your
is this
pilot
for getting...
also has the environment skill.
Your pilot also has
the environment suit skill and the G experience advantage.
Look,
I think you want to have your pilot do this.
To put the suit on me, or to be the one going out there and making a different mechanic roll? Or does my roll count anyway?
Your roll counts to make the thing.
Okay.
Zisha would make her mechanic starships roll to bolt the thing down.
Oh, that makes sense.
Basically.
That makes a lot of sense. So I come out of engineering holding this full-scale tinfoil model of a communications dish as if it is something that I'm about
as big
to...
as you are.
I'm assuming taller than me. That I look like I'm about to enter this into a science fair in the elementary level, which is mostly because of my height, but that's besides the point. And I just hold it up to Zisha and say, Utini.
I'll go put my suit on.
Utini.
Let's see. Environment suit vacuum, you have it at a 12, which is perfectly reasonable to get the thing on. But give me a roll for your the spacewalk part of it.
So, can we flavor my missed by 1 failure which was actually missed by 6 because it was at -5, as I come out of engineering wearing the vac suit, but wearing is in air quotes. It's not my size, and I've made adjustments
This is
that
why
do not
Rotini
allow it
isn't
to be
allowed
vac
to use-
suit.
Yeah. This is why you're not allowed to be a vac suit or to go out and do spacewalks generally.
The helmet
Yeah.
might not actually line up with my eyes.
Nope.
However, they still illuminate the interior.
Zisha. I think Zisha wants you to stay on the ship.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah. If I fall into hyperspace and die, someone's got to pilot the ship down.
Don't
Once-
you dare say that.
It gets out of hyperspace. Anyway, I just made my environment suits roll.
Okay. This is not actually a difficult maneuver except for the part where there's hyperspace right outside the bubble, so you're not quite crawling along, but you're definitely crouched down to keep away from it.
Mhm.
And this is kind of a stressful, terrible situation, but also you're taking your time. I'm going to
Yes.
assume that both cancels out. Okay, you can get it into position. A mechanic starship roll to get it affixed into position. Made by
Made
one.
it by 1.
Very good. It is in position. You haven't wrinkled it too much with touching it and all that. And it's had like some kind of spray. It's reasonably sturdy. You hope. You think
It'll last until we can get to a shipyard.
it'll last until you can get to a shipyard. It's sort of like the donut spare tire.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, where's Woolrock?
Good, I'm not
In-
muted.
Inside the ship, I hope.
Rather,
Yes. The Swolrock is going to express their appreciation to Duckling's gun. Attempt to figure out if any of them have the mechanical knowledge to assist Rotini in assorted minor repairs.
Let me check the skills that they were imported with. They are generally not what you would call mechanics, more's the pity. The commander is decent with, like electronic stuff, and the lieutenant ditto, and also is only one of them has anything resembling first aid, and she's currently checking on your extremely wounded one who is still stable, has regained consciousness periodically and had some nice soup and been helped to the fresher and is doing a lot of lying down still. Yeah, it's been a couple days.
Mm.
He's actually at positive hit point numbers now. He's healed a little. Duckling squad. The poor ducklings. So where in the ship roughly is Zwolrock at the moment? Over by
Depends on where the ducklings have congregated post-combat.
Lieutenant Priper is over by the medbed area, and the others are probably all collapsed. And the closest useful place to collapse from their point of view, which is the lounge. Well, 10. What does they call 10? Yeah, the lounge. Galley/lounge area. The
I
place
call
where
it the
people
breakfast
sit
nook.
and... Yes, the breakfast nook.
Right, so Zolrock is sort of leaning against that door so that they can keep an eye on all of the ducklings.
I'm going to just sort of add the ducklings to the location. You even have the commander duckling as well.
Sorry. Ducklings. Just
Uh-oh, what's
Your
this?
poor
going
Imperial.
across the ship like robots.
You know, it's nice that this floor is being kept so clean. But also, it's being kept clean in...
Apparently we have Nedra.
You have a Nedra. What was that?
The floor's being kept so clean, but it's being kept clean in several parallel straight lines.
Yeah, well, you have a Nedra who is staring at the galley as if she thought she was going to get something from the galley and she can't remember what. Zisha, give me an environment suit roll, and this is just going to be for how long it takes you to get back in.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I assume that Zolrock is not going to move away from the door to the cockpit until Zisha gets back.
Indeed.
All right.
And I'm
You
going to make a roll to see how awkward they are being at duckling managing.
you made your leadership roll.
Exactly. They are
The
being
equiv-
a little bit awkward at duckling managing, horribly embarrassing themselves.
You are not embarrassed. You are providing morale to the troops, and the troops are just glad that they were able to help. And there's a certain amount of minor complaining about, all of the defensive flying meant that they couldn't get a really good shot at anything. On the other hand, that was some good defensive flying. They seem to be reasonably there's a word for this. Appreciative, respectful. That's the word. They are respectful of Zisha's piloting skills. Decaf coffee for everyone.
I don't say the quiet part out loud. And even if I did, they wouldn't know.
I assume they're telling this to Jwolrak?
Yes,
Okay.
they're telling this to Zorok. This is possibly going to happen by the time you actually get in, though. You come in the airlock and they're saying that the flying was, that was a lot better flying than they would have expected from an alien.
Zolrock sort of tilts their head.
You have a very good pilot, my lord. You chose well. See, sure, you can come in on this, sure.
Oh no, I'm gonna just let the awkwardness hang there.
I think I'm needed in engineering.
Zolrock continues to look somewhat baffled. Zolrock is trying to figure out how Zisha is more alien than the humans are. None of these people are cis.
Yet. The commander says, "Is something wrong, my lord?"
Are you not all aliens to an extent?
Not to our knowledge, my lord. We are all human. Perhaps some of us might have distant ancestors of your own esteemed species, but
They just mean I'm not military.
they're not
It's rare.
contradicting each other.
It's rare to see a non-human in the Imperial military, from what I understand.
Very, says the commander. Most military in the Empire are either humans or pure-blooded Sith.
I did think it a bit odd that your unit was solely human.
They all look slightly baffled at poor Zolrock because, well, what are you making by 10?
I'm just rolling to do
Mechanic
some
rolls.
minor repairs
Engineering.
and tinkering. Remember all the cooking
Good
that
idea.
Zisha did? This is my idea of cooking.
I'll help.
It's wonderful. You could argue that if I'm cooking, I'd actually be making explosives, but no, do not cook the explosives. You learn these things with explosives.
By help,
training.
mostly, I mean, I assume by help, I mostly am going to be handing you tools.
Yes, but we've done this often enough, and you have your own background knowledge that you know which tools to hand me.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a mechanic starship if you want to make sure they're the right tools.
Did not mean to click that many times.
Well, you
they're
made
both-
all the rolls, so we'll
Yeah.
just say that's.
It's like half the time
You
I'm not
are
even
getting
saying what
about
tool I
this.
need. I just put my hand out and you put the right tool in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I have a twitch in my index finger.
That's why I'm the one using the tools. You're just
Mhm.
handing them.
Valid.
And I know you meant in real life, but
So
I'm rolling with it.
Yes.
Swolrock continues to...
Swolrock sees the baffled looks and adds, "There are no Masasi among you."
Me make... Did I make a character sheet for you? I did! I did make a character sheet for you. Masasi are not... They're an older species, my lord.
But they check out.
Yes? Well, they would.
Or they did check out, which is why they're not around anymore.
Something along those lines. I remember the name, but I wasn't in one of the Sith academies, my lord.
An older species.
Yes, my lord. I suppose some might have still been on Korriban, perhaps?
I would have to hope, yes.
They might be too rare to put in the military, my lord.
That is deeply unfortunate to know.
Presumably biotics or philosophy or one of the other spheres perhaps would be more informed about that.
Thank you, then. I shall keep that in mind.
Yes, my lord. Is there anything else that we can... I hope we have not offended you, my lord.
Offended, no. Confused, perhaps. Know at least that I see little difference between the other species that would make you less alien than she.
They all blink with extreme confusion, and finally the commander says, "Yes, my lord, understood. Perhaps we should have some calf after all that unexpected excitement, my lord. Would you like some?"
All right.
He will serve
Solrock
calf.
will drink the calf. It's probably a good thing that it's decaf calf because I have unusual biochemistry and would have to roll.
Indeed. On that note, is there anything else that anyone wants to be doing?
I'm very happy to not be a part of that conversation and to be working on the ship.
Mm-hmm. Zisha?
I'm helping work on the ship.
Okay.
It's a
Swolrock?
bonding experience. We do this frequently.
And then
Solrock will keep an eye on the ducklings and the Netra. Oh, sorry, Zisha?
I was just going to say it's a bonding experience. We do this frequently, and that's why we have super glue solvent on that hand.
Specifically
Useful.
for our hands. We do not high-five a successful mechanics check nearly as often as we used to.
Not since the incident.
Look, if I'd known a double high-five was going to be that much of a concern, I would have never suggested it.
Nothing else anyone can think of that should be dealt with on camera.
No, Solrock is just going to continue to be entirely baffling due to historical values dissonance.
And I'm going to continue to
Okay.
adjust the ship baffles.
In that case, I think that's probably about where we should leave it. Thank you for playing and bearing with me. Thank people for listening and bearing with me. And does anyone have anything plugging besides plugging the holes in the ship?
Don't plug in
EOS
that
Mom Writes
panel.
Books.
Yeah, EOS Mom Writes Books. Available on Libby app.
And Elizabeth Dashman. Yeah,
And
Elizabeth McCoy.
yes,
And elizabeth-mccoy.com.
that too. And speaking of websites, you can get all of these podcasts at aaronbsmith.com/cogwheel. So if you like these, go there to find more and maybe share that with your friends. And if you really like them and want to help us fill this bottomless pit with money, as all pastimes are, you can join our Patreon, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming. You can join other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Ellie, Shen Shen, Walter, and Patron Emeritus, Cindy.
Until next time, this is Beth saying, those weren't the right coordinates at all. I'm so tired. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.